Hey everybody, Audiophile Barista here. Today is a sunny day in Rotterdam. This is vlog number 131. In these vlogs I talk about audio, coffee and other things that keep me busy. I am having a lot of videos that are coming out, but work is interfering. So today's vlog is just a little bit of an update on the things that I am doing at the moment. Here's one example. Remember this? This is the sand that was left over from the speaker stands that I sent to Austria, and I kept it thinking, well, one day it probably is going to be of use. And today I thought of something, and it involves this little thing. I'll show you more in a second. Let's go over here. Still have my Ocellias. Days are warm, so the ventilation came out. Over here you can see a few tubes, and this is because I am doing an experiment. I have a lot of tubes, and mainly tubes that will fit into my wonderful preamp, the Ear 864 from Tim de Parvacini. This is the inside. Over here, this is the preamp board. Over here, this is the phono board. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tubes in that. So this one and these three are ECC 83 tubes, and the other one at the front here, is an ECC 82. And I have a lot of ECC 83 tubes, and I am just from different brands, and I'm just trying out this position, putting it in, listening, writing down what I think, how they sound, what I like, what I don't like. Some of them were broken, and I already did that once before, but I never kept records, so that's what's changed this time. In here now is a TAD tube, and one of the favorite it is competing with now is this Gold Lion. So that's to come. And another thing that I am experimenting with is my OPPO Bluray player. So it was standing right over there in the rack, and it is now situated down here. Now the reason for that is because now I can have a power cable from the OPPO into this filter, power filter, instead of in the PS Audio regenerator, because that thing only has 5 outputs, and I'm always having more equipment, so I'm always trying to find ways to reduce the amount of power cables into the PS Audio. So this thing is now getting its power from another source. This over here. This is where it gets its power from now. Now this is not optimal, of course, having pieces of equipment connected through cables, metal cables, copper cables, like the Ethernet cable. When one piece of equipment is getting power from one source and other pieces of equipment are getting power from another line, and that increases the amount of possibilities to get extra hum and noise into your system, for example from a double earth connection. So what I did here is now I have the audio output from the OPPO connected via a very long optical cable to the Denafrips, and that of course is not a metal cable. The Ethernet cable is still connected to that system. I have an Ethernet hub over there, but probably in a month or 2 months they are going to change our connection from outside to inside, which is now copper wire Ethernet. It's going to be fiber optics, and I want to change every Cat 6, 7 or 8 cable that I have here with copper. I want to change it for fiber optics in order again to reduce the amount of ways that a ground loop can occur. So now I have an Ethernet cable going from here to there, but that's going to change. Then we have HDMI out. Now I have this little box over there. Can I get a good picture? Over there. What is happening with that box is got HDMI in and Ethernet out, because I need a... oh wait, my OPPO was standing over there, so I needed a connection from the OPPO for video going all the way over there, over there, over there, over there, into the projector over here. So that little box what I just showed you, and there is another one just down there, that little box changes HDMI to Ethernet, and then you can run very, very, very long runs, and it changes it back to HDMI over here, and that is working perfectly. By the way, as you can see, this is all cabling that I reduced. This was all over here and it was just too much, so I'm trying to reduce also the amount of length of cable that I have in this system. Anyways, the OPPO is now only still connected via the copper Ethernet cable to that power source, and the rest is now connected, including that little box that I just showed you that also needs power. That's all connected to this filter. So there's just one last thing, the copper cable from here to the rest of the system that I need to change, and then this is completely decoupled as far as ground loops can go, decoupled from the main system but still connected to the main system. There's one other experiment that I already made a little video about, and I wasn't sure when to send it to you because it's also not done, but because of today I'm just going to put it in this vlog. So this is actually a separate video, but I just put it in the vlog, and it basically is a solution for a problem that I think you did not know that you needed. What am I talking about? Well, let's go to the video. Hey everybody, Audiophile Barista here. Today I have the solution for a real audiophile problem. On the side of the street I found the perfect solution for this specific audiophile problem. So what am I talking about? On the side of the street, the garbage disposal, I found this thing. It is very strong. It may look even like a acoustical panel, but it's not. I don't know what it's for. I think you lay it flat and put a mattress on top of it to have a lot of ventilation below it. Anyways, people were throwing it away, probably because there's a hole in there, I don't know. But this is the solution. So how does it work? At the rear of this thing, I have of course my audio rack with all my equipment in there. And the thing with every piece of equipment is that it has cables, at least two. One for power, one for signal. And if you put a cable behind the rack, it always hangs down. And when you have multiple layers of equipment, you have multiple layers of cables all hanging down on top of each other. That's something that bothers me as an audiophile, because I'm a strong believer that cables should be separated as much as possible. But when you have a lot of cable spaghetti behind there, that is quite difficult. So in the past what I did, I may put a screw into the rear over there and route the cable over it, but we are audiophiles, so every 2 weeks things change, we rearrange, we get another cable, and of course it doesn't fit that specific screw that you just put in there. So what I was looking for was a solution that would adapt to my changes without any hassle, in a very easy way. So this is what I came up with. I found this thing. How does it work? So this is going to be placed behind the rack. I'm going to paint it white. I have some paint left over from a previous project. It's going to be behind there, and then this is just an example, chopstick, a wooden rod chopped into small pieces, maybe like this length, and whenever I need to route a cable, I'll just put in this thing And then I have the perfect place to lay the cable over, and no matter how many cables I want to route, as long as I have enough of those wooden pieces, I can just find the perfect spot for it by just changing out this thing to where I need it to be. So this means it just can be adjustable to anything that I want, no matter how many or how few cables. I always have the right space for that. So that is the short video for today, and I am asking you, do you recognize this as a problem? Do you have another solution for that? And if you do, please let me know in the comments below. Okay, so I hope you like that little video. I still have to paint that thing, and that's all going to happen, but I have a lot of work, and you know, this is not my work. I have a different job and I have to make some money. So if you want to help out the channel, make sure that you subscribe and to comment in the comment section. So the last thing we started with, the sand that I showed you, is because of cable management. Now, one of the things, and I already showed you, this was a lot of cabling that was used, for example, to connect the DA converter to the preamp in its previous position. Over here we had a long power cable that was running from the OPPO, where it was before, also to this power filter. Now it's here, of course, so it can have a short power cable. But when it was there and it was fed power from there, I needed a long power cable. But where was I? Oh, right, cable management. So what you want is to have power cables and signal cables, digital and analog, everything as much separated as possible. We all know that. But when you have a hobby like this, and especially when you have a channel like I have, is one of the main things that changed for me, that I'm still finding what is the best way for me to deal with that, is before I had this channel, I was just a happy audiophile, and I had my system, I had every cable made to length, I had everything exactly where I needed it, I knew exactly what it sounded. If one thing changed, I would notice it immediately. Now with this channel, every week things are changing, and that is very confusing. It is irritating because you place your power amp somewhere else, and then all the cables that you made at the perfect length are now too short, so a lot of things are changing. The dilemma is, I like playing with this stuff and I hate that everything changes every time. But anyways, I digress. Again, cable management. So making sure that power and signal is connected. Over here we have a DIY just temporarily, but this is just a box from a tube, a Gold Lion, between the power cable and the signal cable that goes to the power amp from the preamp. If I take away that box, these two will lay on top of each other like this, and I don't want that, so that's why I have the, let me see if I can do that with one hand. That's why I have that, and I actually like these DIY. This is not the final solution, but I like these DIY things. So over here, for example, these, I don't know what the American word for this is, to hang your clothes. I find out I can use that to, there you go. You see, this is just to lift the cable a little bit from the floor, not because I use it as a cable riser because of interference from the carpet, but most of the things that I placed under the cables, as soon as I touched another cable, it would fall down. And this one, there's another one over there, and these just clamp and give you a bit of height, making it possible to let another cable run under it or over it. And one of the things that I used already for a very long time is just glass things like this, but the problem with those is they will fall over as soon as you touch one of the other cables. So here enter the sand that I kept from the speaker stands and this little thing. So I'm going to remove this, clean it, put sand in it, and then put it under the cables in the system. And the beauty of this is that it can have different lengths, and this will make it easy for me to do this cable management behind the rack. And of course I can close it afterwards. So let's change this. And there you have it, a nice sand-filled jar and a bigger one. The more that I have from these, the more, because everything changes every time, the more I can just change this, pick one from the correct height. There is still sand left over, and let's give this a little bit of a spot. There we have it, the big one holding up this power cable so it doesn't cross. It looks like they're touching, but they're not touching with the white loudspeaker cable. A free cheap tweak to do some cable management. It's not pretty by any means, but it doesn't cost me anything and it works just fine. So let me know in the comment section what kind of useful, cheap ways you found to do your cable management. Okay, so that's all that I have for you guys today. Let's finish up this vlog. It is Friday, so I am saying thank you for watching, have a nice weekend, and I will see you in the next one.